Welcome back to this new segment of Don't Cancel Me or my movie opinions and news. This is your boy, Petrie Perfect. I'm here to give y'all the next big news or opinions on what I have going on in the movie industry. So if you like what I have to say or if you're rocking with it, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down in the section below. Let me know what you think. Because today we're talking about Jonathan Majors and his trial and the future of Marvel updates. Let's get it.
A ruler, a conqueror, he who remains a jerk.
Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that Jonathan Majors have been going through trial for the last couple of weeks. In March, he was arrested for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend, well, now ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, and he was the one that actually called the cops that day and ended up being the one to be arrested. Well, of course, this played out throughout the year, and here we are now in December going through trial. The trial had its ups and downs, but things were coming out. Things were working out in each one of their favors. You didn't know which way it was going to go. You had the jury being selected. It was only 6 jurors, if I'm not mistaken, and everybody was presenting their case just like a normal case would. But of course, as you release videos and stuff like that to the public, then you start to get the public opinions on things. One of the big things that was trending during this trial was Jonathan Majors in the audio of him talking to his ex-girlfriend now, Grace Jabari, letting her know that she needs to hold herself up more and be more like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. That was one of the big things that was trending. I don't know what that really has to do with the assault in the harassment case, but that was one thing that came up in this trial. Later on in the trial, video starts to surface of Jonathan Majors getting out of the car in the middle of the street and then attempting to put Grace Jabari back in the car. It seemed like she was trying to come after him. I don't know if he was trying to get away, if he was trying to step out and get a breather. We don't know. We wasn't in there. You don't understand. We wasn't. Neither one of us was there, so we don't have any idea what could have happened. But you do see him getting out of the car and forcibly putting her back in the car. Of course, with him trying to remove himself from the situation. I guess I don't know if you ever tried to handle somebody. It's just, if you're trying to handle somebody, and somebody fighting back, then it's gonna be a rough outing. But of course, I don't think anything that he did was very intentional. But that's not how the jury seed it. After getting her back in the car, Jonathan Majors then takes off running. Of course, this became memes and the talk of Twitter, or X, excuse me, and how people were just saying different things, making jokes about it. But he was really running down the streets, trying to get away from her, and she was chasing after him. Now, this is the part that people were getting confused on, because people are saying, if you were getting abused, why are you chasing after him? Well, while she was chasing after him, she stopped and she met some strangers on the street, where she told these two people that she just found out that Jonathan Majors was cheating on her. All this stemmed from Jonathan Majors being in the car and having some other woman texting him. I think they said the name was Cleopatra. And this Cleopatra person was like, wish I was kissing on you right now. This is what stemmed everything. This is why we are where we are today. Grace Jabari goes out. She has a good time at night. She's turned up. She's enjoying herself. According to her, she wasn't really thinking of what just happened. She was just thinking of trying to take her mind off of things. So the pain wasn't really residing with her at the moment. But she went out. She had a good time. She came back home I don't know if there was a home or if it was a rental, but they came back to the penthouse, where that morning Jonathan Majors returns home and he finds out that she is asleep on the floor in the closet. Of course, Jonathan Majors didn't have his key, so he had to get the maintenance man to let him in, which was also used as a witness in this case. But when Jonathan Majors finds her on the ground, he calls the police. The police show up. They go through questions and everything, go through the whole process. Somehow, Jonathan Majors ends up going to jail after being the one to call the police. Jonathan Majors then was facing 4 counts, two counts of harassment and 2 counts of assault. The jury only found him guilty on 2 of the 4 charges. The 2 of the 4 charges are the lesser of the 2 charges, and the 2 charges basically symbolizes that they do understand that he did not intentionally mean to hurt Grace Jabari, but in the event he did, and that's why he was able to get those charges. Of course, after the case, Twitter is some people on Twitter are, it's mixed emotions. Some people don't understand why is this happening to another black man. Some people are saying that he deserves what he's getting to him. Did you see her face? Did you see her fingers? Of course, we all don't ever know what happened, but it is interesting that his lawyer did state that it is clear that the jury did not believe Grace Jabari's story of what happened in the SUV because they found that Mr. Majors did not intentionally cause any injuries to her. We are grateful for that, Chaudhry said. We are disappointed, however, that despite not believing Ms. Jabari, the jury nevertheless found that Mr. Majors was somehow reckless while she was attacking him. So there you have it, folks. That is what went down. That is how the jury came up with their decision. It's unfortunate, but of course, with him getting this guilty charge, now comes the next thing. Shortly after the guilty verdict reached the airwaves, Marvel Studios announced that they are parting ways with Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. Jonathan Majors came on board to play this character as we first seen him in Loki season 1. Jonathan Majors played a character named He Who Remains, which is a variant of Kang from when you start to get to this multiverse. And I'm not gonna confuse everybody with the nerd talk right now. But Jonathan Majors was set up to be the Thanos of this next saga of movies. Marvel has already been in a kind of a limbo lately. Things have not been going in Marvel's favor, so having Jonathan Majors was one of the bright spots that we had to look forward to while we were moving in a great direction with the multiverse. With the news of Jonathan Majors being found guilty, Marvel immediately had to move, which lets me know that they had this planned all along. Marvel had a retreat not too long ago. I believe this is where they discussed this outcome. What could happen? What would happen if we go here? What's going to do this? How are we going to replace this? I believe this is where they came up with the master plan. It could be said that Marvel already knew ahead of time that they were going to make this decision. However, they wanted to at least felt like they owed it to Jonathan Majors to let this go through. And I do applaud Marvel for not just dropping him immediately, such as the other movies his PR team and other companies did that was surrounded to him at the time. This case could have gone any way. I think even if he would have came out innocent, the facts still would have been the facts, and I don't think it could have been we don't know what could happen. But in the event that Marvel has to now scramble to see what is going to be the solution for the MCU moving forward. Marvel is one of those things that it's the brand is bigger than the individual. The example I love to give is like the NFL. The NFL is bigger than the name on the back of the jersey. Once a player leaves, the NFL will still continue to run. I believe that the MCU has reached that kind of point. We do have our issues with what's going on. We know Robert Downey Jr. was that star that we know, of course, spoiler alert, that he was killed in Avengers Endgame, and people were like, they were done with it, but Marvel still has found a way to even bring in new viewers and keep the old viewers. But it's not necessarily a character problem that they're having right now. It is a story problem. And the beautiful thing about it is Marvel was never Kang dependent. So he appeared in 3 projects. Those projects was Loki season 1, Loki season 2, and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which really flopped in the box office. Now, that movie did not flop because of Jonathan Majors and Kang, but he was a part of that movie, and it really kind of had fans not as excited for the character anymore. But like I said, it wasn't him. His portrayal was perfect, but it was the script that was written for him. Marvel has bigger issues right now than Kang the Conqueror and Jonathan Majors. But I do believe that they do have a plan to bring in someone bigger, someone better. Doctor Doom is the name that I'm hearing that's all around. And they're not going to get rid of the multiverse. Of course, we have Deadpool 3 coming up next year. I believe it's the only movie coming out next year. And Deadpool 3 is going to be a multiversal film introducing the X-Men. Reintroducing the X-Men, bringing us those old characters back. I still think that the MCU will be in good shape. With Marvel already having this going on, they already knew that this could be a possibility that he could be found guilty. With that being said, no spoilers here. In Loki season 2, the season finale found a way that they could eliminate their Kang problem. Now, I'm not going to talk about it for those who haven't seen it yet, but if you haven't seen Loki season 2, please go by and watch it. Pull it up, Disney Plus. It will give you your last portrayal of Jonathan Majors once again playing two different versions of Kang the Conqueror. But I don't want to spoil it right here for those who haven't seen it. But if you need to, go watch it, check it out. You'll see at the end of that show, Marvel gives themselves a way out from the character. They had a way where they could pull the character back in if he was found innocent. They have a way that they can move on from the character if he was found guilty. Before the episodes came out, I heard this. I didn't see how they were going to pull it off, but I must say that Marvel did do a really good job. Now, of course, with the Avengers movie coming up, the Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, Avengers 5 was supposed to be called Kang Dynasty, where Avengers 6 is going to be Secret Wars. Of course, now I believe they will change the name of that Avengers movie, and they're going to take the focus off of Kang, and I do believe it's going to become a Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2. All in all, Marvel is going to be okay. I do think they will learn to move forward. They will push forward. I do believe that it never got too deep into the story to where it could become a huge problem. I think the way they're going to take the story is going to be great. I still think Secret Wars is going to be this great comic book event that's going to have a bunch of nerdgasms and all the characters that we all love from throughout the years, all the way from, I even believe Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade will make an appearance in this movie as well. As I think how big this movie is going to be. So I believe by the time we get to the end of this saga, Jonathan Majors will be a memory, which sucks for him because I do think he had the potential to be such a great villain in the MCU. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you agree with what I said? If I said anything wrong, correct me in the comments. Let's talk about it. I want to keep the dialogue open. But once again, this is Peachy Perfect. Thank you for coming to check me out this segment. This is Peachy Perfect. I'm out. Peace.